We are now going to discuss client reporting and handling out of scope requests. I thoroughly believe that the future of your agency lies in the value that your clients perceive you are bringing to them, the results that you get for them, and the insights or the recommendations you can give them in the future. Simply put, you need to make them look good. Even though you may have a 6 month or 12-month retainer and contract in place with your clients every month, you actually have to remind them why they hired you in the first place. Highlight the things that have been working in the previous month, acknowledge the things that have not worked, and what are you going to do to adjust, and keep showing value over and over again. If you get these two things right, your reporting and your insights and the ability to manage out of scope requests, these are vital in you having a very successful agency. I kind of see these as two big derailers of why clients leave. I hear agencies talk about this over again. They go, oh, the client didn't see value in us. Well, it's like, well, that's your job every single month to show them, to draw the line between the value that you are providing them based on where they were at before they started working with you. You've got to paint that picture for them. And the other one is just, being overly nice to them and giving, yes, we'll do that. And yes, we'll do that. That out of scope work eats into your profitability. And if you get those two things right, it's a game changer. So how you build the reports, it's basically, I have gone through this now in a previous video around account management and reporting, but let's look at this. When you are presenting a report, it has to be done either in a one-on-one call that's recorded, it could be a meeting recorded, or you can record the actual report that you're walking through and send it to them, making sure that you can track that they've actually watched it. Sometimes when you're working with a client that has challenges that get resolved or change along the course of the relationship, things pass with time, and they can actually not really see that the results that you've got for them were directly related to the work that you're doing for them. They kind of get this sort of feeling that, oh, it kind of all worked out that way. But you have to remind them, no, the visitors increased because we did all this content for you. So you've got to draw the clear line between the challenges that are being resolved by time and the ones that are taking place as the result of the work that you're doing. If they say that one or two more of the challenges are gone or have changed, take a note of these and make changes in the next month's report. An example of that would be, they came to you with a problem of they weren't getting enough visitors to their website. You work with them for 3 months. You review that challenge in your monthly report and they go, no, we're getting loads of visitors. And you go, great. So that means all that work we did in the last 3 months, it's working. And they acknowledge and they go, great. Now what we do, let's improve the quality of those leads, visitors. Let's improve the conversion of visitors to leads. There's always more to do, but you have to remind them. Step 2 is you would actually create the reminder to the client of what you've been doing over the last month. They should know about these matters, that they're not going to review your proposal every month that sales send to them. So you have to take that proposal information and put it in the monthly report. You'll see that in the account management document that I've done. This is a big one. If you're using a marketing automation tool that has reports, take the screenshots of those reports and put them into your report. Switch off any automated reports from the marketing automation software. Unless, of course, they've actually asked for this preference to be switched on. For example, in HubSpot software, you can set up, go to the portal, set up daily, weekly, and monthly reports to come to your email address automatically. If you set these up for your clients, instead of following this format of creating your own report, over time, your client can start to question what your value is. The monthly reports done in a format like this, creating your own secret sauce, creates an excellent opportunity to build rapport with your client, show your value and expertise, highlight what is working and what is not, take ownership of what's not working, and find possible upsell opportunities in the future. You can't do that in an automated email. As soon as your budget allows, I would highly recommend implementing a tool like Databox, and this will help your agency create really impressive monthly reports for your clients and learn from the best agencies in the world on techniques on how to delight and retain customers. Step 4, you really do have to take ownership of what did not work, what you're planning to do next month to rectify the situations. You can't sweep these things under the carpet. If a blog post didn't get as many views as normally ones would do, what was going on in the world that day, that week? That was, did have people's focus go? Were the keywords off? Dig in and own it. Don't skip over it. Then the next step is to outline the work of what's coming up in the next month, the next 90 days. Is the work within the scope of your original proposal? Many times when you're working with clients, their priorities change. They ask for additional work that is out of scope of what you've quoted in the beginning. Now, remember, we've actually showed you how to handle out of scope requests, and how you have a process around this is going to make or break your agency. I know this sounds dramatic, but then you need to dig in how to handle these requests, refine the process, and make sure it works for your agency. How to handle out of scope requests. It's important to remember that how many people do not feel comfortable, many people, they just don't feel comfortable saying no to clients. And in today's world, many of 20-somethings rarely have the experience in real life uncomfortable conversations, as they handle a majority of their communication either on email or messages or text messages. So we must help people be comfortable with uncomfortable situations and learn that no is just no, and take the emotion out of a business discussion. Ideally, we don't even want to create a situation where an out of scope request becomes a point of conflict. So in the beginning, having clear proposals, clear contracts, it's a good place to start. And we have actually covered a whole section on this. Your salesperson must outline what the scope of work will include, and then it is up to your account manager to show what out of scope work would look like and how that request can be handled. Occasionally, clients have great new ideas or unexpected events that pop out, and they ask you just to quote unquote help out. It's important to teach your account management team the difference between a request that is urgent and one that can wait. The ones that can be swapped out with tasks that aren't going to affect the overall challenges being addressed for the business, and the ones that really can be left until the end of the month. You have to teach them the difference. How are you going to identify out of scope work? When you get that, tell them how they're going to send it to you. Do they send it on email? Do they send it on Slack? Do they put it in the actual form? Remember, the customer is always right. If you get an email from them, respond that you've received the email and that you're working on the correct course of action. If the idea comes up on the call, tell them if it's a good idea, that, if it is, or if you believe otherwise, be honest with them, but acknowledge, accept the idea. You can't skip over it and you can't play it down. It has to be accepted and documented. Keep ideas freely flowing between you and your client. You want them to feel that you are listening to them. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to act on every idea, but acknowledging it is a really good step forward. For every client work that you take on, whether it's project-based or retainer-based, you must set up the documents in the cloud through Google Docs and share documents for out-of-scope requests as they come up. You can call it wish list, out of scope work, parking lot. I've showed you this in the account management document. Share the document with the client. Tell the client that there is a start to the project, that that there has been an actual plan set up in place, and where does this new idea fit in with that. Go and see the video about account management process to review this. And at the end of each month, you can review new ideas together and decide which are the ones needed to be implemented. Communicating out of scope work. It's a simple question that you can have. Do you have budget for this? This will help them make the final decision. Find out what the extent of the work is planned for the upcoming month. You'll do this in the beginning of the section. Bring up your monthly calendar and the account plan. Check the bandwidth that you have for the coming months and see if something can be swapped out without having an overall impact on the whole objectives that you're trying to achieve. Decide if you are good enough to handle a conversation. As the account manager, you might need a senior manager, your team leader. You might need some help with sales. Helping clients decide what's important to them is really, really good skill to actually take on board. So with that in mind, let's look through a complete list of the actions for agency services. Get a team leader. If your agency team is over 4 or 5 people, get a team leader in place. Have them organize a weekly client status meeting, and I have a template for that, which is included in this, to make sure the work for your agency is being done and the work for your team. Sales and services alignment. I've got a great template on how to actually implement that for your agency. Get the right project management tool that includes time tracking. Make sure you follow these checklists and all of these process and procedure in how to market, sell, and service in your agency. That new package or new service, you've got to have that checklist complete if you want to bring in any new ideas. Make sure you're creating exceptional monthly reports with your insights and all of the out of scope requests so nothing gets overtaken in your agency. And when you have the budget, get Databox for your monthly reports. That concludes the whole section for agency services. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any feedback, please leave some comments below, or you can drop us a line on hello@growitgroup.com. Thanks.